Hello everyone. Today we are starting chapter 3, which is democracy and diversity. The material of this PPT has been taken from class 10 political science NCERT. In this chapter we will understand a very important question. Does diversity divide a country or can it actually strengthen democracy? And I will explain this using real examples from India that you see around. What we are going to learn? We are going to learn social diversity, social divisions, rule of democracy, and understanding how diversity affects politics. So let's start. So the first question is, what is diversity? Diversity means differences among people. In India, we have different religions like Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, etc. Different languages like Hindi, Tamil, Bengali, and much more. Different cultures and traditions. Even in your own class, everyone is different. So remember, diversity is natural. India is actually one of the most diverse countries in the world. So what we can take away from this that diversity is natural and exists everywhere. Now let's see Mexico Olympics case which happened in 1968 Olympics. So in 1968 Olympics, two black athletes protested against racial discrimination. This shows that social problems can become political issues. Two black athletes raised their fists, protested against racial discrimination in USA. Now connect this with India. When students protest for jobs or farmers protest for laws, these are social issues becoming political movements, as we have seen a lot of times. So this concept of diversity is very real even today. Social divisions often lead to political actions, and based on it, several times laws has been made, and this shows that issues can become political issues. Why we are learning this? Because we are taking an example why diversity is important and how it affects a nation. Now we will understand origins of social differences, why these social differences arise and what are the reasons behind them. So social differences arise due to two reasons. One is birth, which is accidental and which is not in a control of any individual. It can be family, it can be caste, it can be religion. Some people are born in some rich family, some people are born in poor family, some belong to different caste, and some have different religion. It is like natural and is not controlled by anyone. And second is choice. Choice is personal, it is chosen by a person according to his will and wishes. It includes profession, hobbies, and beliefs. Some may choose to be a chef, some may choose to be a construction worker, some may choose to be a pilot, some may choose to be a delivery person. Okay, so what happens when we choose different profession, hobbies, or beliefs? Social differences arises. Like in India, caste is an example of birth-based difference, while choosing a profession is a personal choice. What we can take away from this is some differences are natural and some are chosen. Both types create diversity. Why create diversity? Because it makes person differ from another person. As I said, some may choose to be a chef, and a chef will have different beliefs, different hobbies, and different social structure, different money structure. Same way, a pilot will have different salary, different mindset, and so on. So differences arises. Like, let's take an example. You and your friend may belong to different kinds of families. One may be from middle class family and another can be from rich class. So what will happen is a rich kid will have different thought process. A child belonging to middle class will have different thought process. So social differences will arise when they are talking to each other based on their beliefs. Now let's see social differences versus social divisions. Now understand this carefully. Having different religions is normal. This is diversity. But if people fight in the name of religion, it becomes division. Social differences are normal variations among people, and social divisions are when differences create conflict. Let's take an example in India. Living peacefully with different religions will create differences. And when those differences create communal rights, then it's a division. So, social differences is people living with different religions. And when it becomes social division, that is when it creates communal rights based on different religions. People are fighting with each other based on their difference of their religion. And obviously, religion creates different beliefs in different people, right? So, not all differences become divisions. What we can take away from this is conflict happens when only differences turn into divisions. So, diversity is not the problem, conflict is the problem. When, due to diversity, conflict arises, then it is a problem. If people are living together and they may not have any conflict, then it's not a problem. Let's see. Now, let's understand what are cross cutting differences. Cross-cutting differences mean that people have multiple identities, and these identities overlap in different ways, not forming one single group. In simple words, we can say that people are not divided into one fixed group. Suppose two people are both Hindus, okay? One is rich and one is poor. One is rich and one is poor. One lives in city and one lives in village. And we can also say like if two people belong to the same caste, this is one example. And second example is there are two people, person A and person B. Person A and B both belong to the same caste, but one supports one political party, let's say X political party, and B supports Y political party. So even though they share one identity, what is their identity? That A and B belong to same caste. Here, person one is rich and one is poor, but they both belong to Hindu. They both are Hindu. So even though they share one identity, they differ in others. So this mixing prevents people from forming one rigid group. Now they both are different, so they won't form a single rigid group. So that is why cross-cutting differences reduces conflict and help democracy. How it reduces the chance of conflict? Person A will have some other belief, person B will have some other belief. That's why person A is following party X and person B is following party Y. Same goes for this, that a person belonging to rich family has certain other beliefs. Person who is poor has some different beliefs. So they won't form a group, and it will help democracy. Same way, there are overlapping differences. What are overlapping differences? Overlapping differences happen when one identity becomes dominant and people are divided into completely separate groups. Let's say, let's say, if most poor people belong to one caste, there are certain number of people, and they belong to one caste. There are certain number of people, they belong to one caste, and most rich people belong to other caste. There are certain rich people which belong to other caste or different caste. Then caste and economic status overlap. These are poor, these all people are poor and they belong to one caste. Like we can take a real example, like people belonging from ST community, SC community, they are majorly from rural areas. So they are mostly poor. Not, it can be said for everyone, but most are poor. And from people from urban areas, they are mostly rich. Same way, it can't be said for everyone, but most are rich. So that's how caste and economic status overlap. Now, what it does, it creates strong divisions and increases chances of conflict. How? If a particular caste is mostly poor and feels neglected, this these people are feeling neglected, and these people are economically powerful. So what will happen? It will create tension between these two communities. Another example is if religion and politics combine strongly and one group feels excluded, it can lead to protest and even violence. So, overlapping differences are dangerous for democracy. Cross cutting differences are good for democracy. Overlapping differences are dangerous for democracy. Now, let's see example of Northern Ireland. In Northern Ireland, Catholics were mostly poor and Protestants were mostly rich. So, what happened? Religion plus class overlapped. This is a case of overlapping differences, right? We just studied about it. This is a case of overlapping differences. So this led to serious conflict and violence. When identities combine like this, conflict increases. And there is another example of Netherlands. In Netherlands, people had religious differences, but no major conflict. People follow same religion as Ireland, but there are no major conflicts because differences were cross-cutting. As we just studied, cross-cutting differences are good for democracy. So people were not divided into one single group. So it can be said that it is not diversity, but the structure or difference that matters. Okay. Now let's understand diversity in India. India is a country where people are very different from each other. People follow different religions, speak different languages, have different cultures and traditions. For example, people from North India speak Hindi, and people from South India speak Tamil, Telugu, etc. But still, all people live together in one country. So the main point is, even with so many differences, India works as one nation. So now the question is how India manage so many differences, right? You just saw that there are so many differences, yet we are a democracy. So how India manages so many differences? The answer is democracy. In India, everyone can vote. Everyone has equal rights. Different groups get representation. Example, some parties represent farmers, some represent regions, and some represent communities. So democracy helps people live together peacefully. So the key takeaway is diversity does not stop democracy. Now let's see politics and social divisions. How these affects our democracy and how it is related to diversity. So as we know that political parties try to get votes from different groups because politics is connected to society. Politics reflect social divisions. Parties use these divisions to win elections. Example, some people vote based on caste, some vote based on religion, some vote based on local issues. Like you must have seen that MPs come to your streets and neighborhoods and they ask for votes. So people discuss with them about their roads and the living conditions, the sanitation things, and people vote based on them that the chosen member of parliament or the member of legislature will get these issues resolved. So the vote is based on local issues. So this is normal in democracy. But the important thing is how it is used. And when does it become dangerous? It becomes danger when one group tries to control others, one group dominates. Some people are treated unfairly, which leads to hate. There is no proper power sharing and inequality increases, which leads to conflict and violence. We can see examples in India like religious rights, hate speech, discrimination. All these things are bad for democracy. Domination destroys democracy. It creates civil unrest, people fighting with each other, burns and loots. It all happens, and this is totally bad for democracy. And when it is healthy, let's see. So it is good when everyone gets a chance. All groups are respected. People solve problems peacefully. Like in India, there is reservation for weaker sections of the society. Different parties representing different people. This makes democracy strong. Like few days ago only, a bill has been presented in parliament to make women reservation in parliament as well as legislatures. So that is a good thing. Now let's see role of political parties. Political parties help in managing diversity. They have different represent different groups, give voice to people, help form government. Okay, represent different groups. They bring balance. They provide voice to minorities, which are all essential for democracy. In India, parties give tickets to people from different castes and religions. So what it shows is they are representing different groups and communities in the parliament, in the legislatures. So parties connect people with government. This makes sure that everyone is included. Now let's remember this three important factors. Three things decide if there will be peace or conflict. These are very important factors and you must remember them. People's thinking, people understanding. If people respect each other, there is peace. If two people respect their ideas, respect each other, then there will be peace. The leaders should be good. Leaders' actions should be good. Good leaders reduce problems. Government policies should be fair, which should keep balance between different sections of society. If all three are good, democracy works well. So we can say that leadership matters. Now let's see the relation between democracy and diversity. Democracy is the best system for a country like India because it gives equal rights, everyone can take part, it allows participation, everyone gets a vote, it represents all groups. So it is the best system for diverse societies like India, which consists of multiple identities. So the key takeaway is democracy manages diversity. Although India is a large nation with a diverse nation, but democracy handles it totally well. Now let's see what is multiple identities. So one person can have many identities. It can be based on religion, it can be based on profession, it can be based on region. For example, you are a student, you can belong from different religion, you can belong from different state. So because of this, people don't divide into just one group, which helps in reducing conflict. This is we just studied about in cross-cutting differences. So multiple identities equal to less division. Okay. So as we can see, there is a person, it has an inherent identity, it acquires some identity, obtains some identity, and derives identity from these three. So layers of identity becomes multiple. So what can be the final understanding from this chapter of democracy and diversity? What did we learn? Differences are normal. We are a large nation, we have lots of population, so differences are normal. Fighting is not necessary. On every conflict, if we started to fight, then it will become too tedious to manage. So fighting is not necessary. It depends on how we handle differences. Democracy manages diversity well. Diversity is normal, conflict depends on handling. And who handles the diversity? Good democracy handles the diversity. So unity in diversity is the goal. India shows that diversity and unity can go together. We are a large nation and we have established democracy in such a beautiful way that we try to avoid conflicts and take our nation to a better path every day with each decision that our democracy takes. So thanks for watching. And for exams, remember that you have to learn about differences versus division, overlapping versus cross-cutting, role of politics, democracy and diversity. These all are very important topics. If you have any questions or anything you would like to share, comment your doubts and I will be sure to reply to them. Thanks for watching.